I'm not going to start this video off and pretend that I have a ton of experience with what's going on in the home projector market or the portable projector market, as my main experience with a projector in recent times really comes down to my portable RCA projector that I purchased a number of years ago for camping. And if you watch that video, while it was a great device for what it does and for setting up movies for my kids, there was definitely a lot to be desired with the device. And recently, a company called HOTPEAK approached me and asked me if I wanted to review their mini projector that's on Amazon for just under $100 Canadian. And of course, it's looked like a cool little device and it claims to be doing a lot of great things. So I figured, why not? I'll give it a chance. There's no real risk here. They sent it to me for free. And in this video, I'm going to go over what I really like about that projector and some of the things that it's definitely lacking. So let's take a look. So the packaging itself, in my opinion, it looks relatively generic. It's, in my opinion, makes the product look a little cheap, if you're asking me. However, one of the things that I want to highlight is this is most certainly, and I'm going to go deeper into this, but most certainly during my testing, this is a 1080p projector. However, the box itself advertises Ultra HD, which suggests to me that this is running 4K. That is absolutely not the case. So that's a little thing out of the gate for anyone at HOTPEAK watching this that you probably want to remove from the box, because this device, I tried it on multiple different devices. It most certainly doesn't run 4K. It runs 1080p. Now, getting into the setup of the device. While this is a mini projector, it's not a portable projector, and that's something I really want to emphasize, because what that means is that this doesn't have a chargeable battery like my RCA device. So if you're in the market for something like that, you may find this a little lacking. However, for someone like me who has a nice portable projector or a portable generator, it's not really a major issue. But if you're purchasing this for something like camping or traveling, you definitely need to consider how are you going to power this device. Now, the setup itself is absolutely simple. I plugged it in. You have an HDMI slot, a USB slot. You also have something that I thought was unique with this device, and that's that you have a built-in Android interface. So what I mean is you can use the App Store or the Android or the Google Play Store to download new apps. It came packaged in with both Netflix and YouTube. However, trying both of those apps out of the box, they were heavily outdated, so I had to update them. And one of the problems or downsides that was immediately apparent with this device is because it is an Android-based device, it doesn't work so well with the interface of the remote. So the remote has a built-in mouse feature that is almost a nightmare to use, because you're using these digital up and down and left and right buttons to move the cursor. And what you'll find is Netflix or YouTube even isn't specifically designed to really interface with the remote. It's more designed for a touch-based interface or a mouse. And trying to navigate with this mouse is not intuitive at all. Now, once I kind of got through it and I kind of figured out where to go with my buttons, as slow and sluggish as it was, the apps do work and they do operate correctly. However, navigating through them, if you're just a common person who's not ultra into tech, this might be a bit of a nightmare using if you're only purchasing it to use standalone apps like Netflix or YouTube. Now, going a bit further, I used my Xbox on this and I tested it primarily with that, beyond testing out the Netflix and YouTube features. And you know, if you have those devices, they have their own controllers, very easy to navigate, works well. But I'm just giving you a word of caution that if you're going to try to use this as a device, as a smart device, you may find this lacking. Now, I want to get into the actual picture quality itself. One of the cool things I thought about with this device, or that I liked about this device, was the focus feature. So on my cheap RCA portable projector, you have to manually crank a dial, and then you have to kind of deal with trying to calibrate it and set it up the right way. This device already has like an auto screen configuration, so if you have it at an angle, it seems to try to straighten it out. But it also has you can go on the remote itself and go up and down and automatically focus the lens itself. So you just hold the buttons down for up and down to focus it or unfocus it, and you're able to change the picture clarity just by the press of a button, which I did like. It was built in, you didn't have to play around with the dial, you can hear the machine itself slowly turning and everything else, and I thought that worked well. The other thing that I really liked is one of the deficits to the RCA device that I had is it was definitely cheap, and it was definitely designed with, how do I say it, someone like me who's going through the shopping aisle and going camping and like, this is a cool idea. It was because it was a cheap enough purchase that at that point in time didn't seem like I was parting with a ton of money for it. So one of the downsides to that though was the actual clarity or the lighting itself seemed kind of lacking, and you almost needed like pitch black darkness to really properly see the screen. But one of the bigger problems with that RCA device was that it was just upscaling a 480p image into what they claimed was 1080. Whereas this device, you have a substantially brighter bulb, and you have a far clearer picture. This is actual 1080p. Now, are you gonna get all the bells and whistles like you get out of my 4K display, or some of the conventional projectors that are probably 300 or 400 plus? Absolutely not. But as far as what this delivered, it looked pretty good. It looked good for watching movies, for watching shows. Now, where it's lacking is in its refresh rate. So what I mean is, when you play a game like any game that's 60 frames per second on this device, you definitely notice there's a bit of a delay between some of the animation, or it looks sluggish almost. Now, was it game breaking to make this play terrible? Absolutely not. But was it on par or as smooth as a nice gaming monitor or my TV even? No. And so that's something to consider, because if you're looking at purchasing this for a bedroom or a man cave and you're trying to get a cheap projector to play your games on, you may find that this is one of the places where it's lacking. Like a game like Call of Duty, you'll definitely notice a deficit in a game where it's all about speed and reaction times. Game like Goat Simulator, which is what my son and I tested on this, I don't think it's really gonna make that massive of a deal in terms of how the game functions. But it is something worth noting. Maybe refresh rate's not the correct term. Whatever it is, there's a delay. But it's something worth noting, and it's something I noticed in testing this with multiple different games on this device. Now, the last thing I really want to highlight is what type of demographic is this going to be for? Now, what I mean by that is, if I'm someone who is looking for a high-end Ultra HD device, is this going to be the bargain of the year for that type of thing I'm trying to accomplish? Absolutely not. But if this is something that I want to run in my backyard at nighttime and watch movies with the kids with good quality, this is something that certainly, for the price point, if I'm just using it to watch movies or have a family night where I'm watching on a larger screen, I think there is a tremendous level of value. Like I said, this is just under $100 on Amazon, and there's typically, with companies like HOTPEAK, you get discounts or coupons whenever you purchase them. Those are things that, for me, for the price point, I would say this device is actually quite good. And I know I was given this for free, so some of you guys on YouTube land are always assuming that because I was given a free device, I'm just gonna say that it's perfect or whatever. It's not the case. I've clearly listed some of the deficits. But the way I like to look at this is, would I have purchased this had HOTPEAK never sent it to me, or had any company never sent me these devices? My answer in this circumstance is yes. And only because for what I have for my camping setup, I'm 100% going to replace my RCA device with this device. It's far more capable. It visually looks way better. It functions quite well. The screen clarity is good. But would I use this for dedicated gaming or something? Absolutely not. This device completely lacks in that department. It's not in terms of the quality, if you want a 1080p style picture, but it's mostly in terms of the delay that you see in playing games that makes me not recommend it for gaming. But if I'm using this for movies and I'm okay with navigating the sluggish controls for the menus, for me, I can get over that. I don't know if other people can, but I can, and at this price point, it's functional and it's something that I can use. You can also plug in a USB device, so if you want to run movies off of that, it's also quite easy to do it that way too. If you want to stream them, as this does have built-in Wi-Fi, you use your Netflix or your YouTube, but understand and go in with that cautionary note that it is quite sluggish trying to use the mouse controls on some of the apps here. Otherwise, at this price point, I think this is a great device, and if you want something that accomplishes the things that I just listed, and you're not expecting a high-end gaming projector, I think there's a lot to like here.